Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about job security. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, how do I get job security as a software developer? I left one industry because my job got outsourced and seems like I went to a new industry that's even worse. So I'm not sure if when we talk about industries or so forth, because is IT an industry or is it a field? An industry, like, you can work in many areas of different companies that need. I mean, they all need IT skills, but there are different industries. I'm not 100% sure if we're talking about, you know, did you used to be something else and then you became an IT person or whatever. But let's just talk about what I believe, at the very least, is the thing that is going to give you job security as a software developer. So the first and foremost thing is going to be tech skills. That's the reason why we have the profession in the first place. So when I say tech skills, I'm basically just stating that you need strong technical skills in the tools or in the areas that you want to work with. So in other words, you want to be a front-end developer, you need front-end skills. You want to be a back-end developer, I hope that that's fairly straightforward. Now, the thing about this is that after doing literally, at this point, I don't know, even I have lost count how many interviews I've done, the average software developer has subpar skills, usually, especially in front end. It's almost embarrassing how little the average front end developer knows about, I mean, the core stuff, everything from how the browser works, how network calls works, and APIs and architecture and all of this sort of stuff, right? So make sure that you actually know your field. It's really, really important. So that's why I don't waste any energy on it, because I know for a fact that the only companies who are going to hire these bootcamp level developers and people who sort of know some stuff are usually consultancies or very mismanaged software companies who do subpar work. And that's I've made a few videos about that. That's the region of IT that usually gets outsourced the most and the quickest, because guys, you can spit in the air and find a software developer who's going to be able to do the low end projects. That's literally the thing that most of the consultancies, like, they're trying to, that's the embarrassing part about it. The consultancies are in many cases trying to sell people like that to larger corporations and so forth. And this is why I tell people that if we are going to lift the quality of our software developers and the overall productivity and quality of products and so forth, we need to get to a point where companies who do serious software development, they need to know what a good software developer looks like, because the market gets flooded with these like bootcamp level developers who don't really know what is necessary in order to do the job, and it hurts everybody when we do that. It's more important, it's better for us to actually just invest in the people who actually are going the distance and actually taking the time to learn this stuff really, really well. It's the best thing, in my opinion, at the very least, for everybody. And this outsourcing thing, that's the only time that usually happens is if you're dealing with a low-end projects, or if the company is going to shut down a department, or the company itself isn't really all that interested in high quality software development, etc., etc. So I mean, there is a market for it, but the outsourcing thing, that's always going to be there, guys. The thing that I can tell you though is this, after we were done with this list, if you can nail all of the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about, it doesn't really matter if you get laid off, because you are going to be able to find a job quicker than you're going to get it quicker than you can possibly imagine. I still don't know a software developer who, with the core skills in place, who has to go jobless for, I mean, I've been part of one or two layoffs and like people moving from one company to another. The average time it takes is maybe a few months if it's like a really long process at most. The quickest that I've seen it happen is like on the same day or like within a week or two. So it's you being laid off, guys, or being outsourced, that's one thing. But if you just have strong technical skills, that should be, for most situations, enough for you to secure a position. Now, the second thing that you need is going to be strong social skills. Strong social skills are necessary because when you are really good at the tech skills, because that's usually what they're going to test first. The second thing that every company that you're going to work for is going to care about is your social skills, because they don't want to hire people who are who cause problems in the workplace, or who can't talk to stakeholders, who can't have a normal conversation between two adults. These things are very necessary, because if you have a lot of social anxieties and you can't actually work with other people, then it doesn't matter how good you are at the tech skills, because you're not going to be able to work within the environment you find yourself in. And that's something that you are going to have to learn how to do. Some people are better at this, some people are worse. The good part is that it's not like you have to be the life of the party, but you need to be able to hold a dialogue and converse with other people, and then listen to what they say, understand stakeholders, understand their perspectives, and then talk to them, give them feedback, receive feedback, and then of course be able to act in a mature fashion in the workplace. One of the main reasons behind this is because if you have immature software developers who have weak social skills, there's a lot of conflicts. If you do a lot of code reviews or pair programming and stuff like that, teamwork is necessary for that to work smoothly. Because trust me when I say this, guys, I've seen a lot of software developers who cause a lot of problems in the workplace, either because they're like annoyed at other developers for giving them feedback on their coding, or because they're so gosh darn afraid all the time that they actually cause disruptions. Guys, I've been in a situation where I've been pulled into my manager's office and been questioned related to my team working abilities, because one time I asked one of my team members why he wasn't doing code reviews, because he hadn't done any for 3 weeks. That was an aggressive move. And we talked about it, and my manager realized that this is kind of weird. That's a problem. That's a real problem, because even if you can be a douchebag, but you can also be so sensitive that we can't work with you, because everything is a slight or everything is an attack, etc., etc. Third thing is experience. Experience is extremely important for every single company. I hope I don't have to talk much more about that. The more you know, the better. The more you've seen, the better. A strong CV is very important. You need to set yourself up with a LinkedIn profile or whatever platforms you're using. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure that it looks nice, that you have all the relevant skills. Write a few lines about yourself. Learn how to, there's tons of videos on that where you can like set up a good, strong CV. One of the best parts about CVs is that you can use a lot of keywords and things like that related to modern tech and things that people are usually looking for. Then personal branding is very useful. If you haven't thought about that yourself, can you imagine how well this whole YouTube thing I'm doing goes over in conversation when I look for jobs? There's a lot more advanced YouTube channels out there whose primary and the only reason the channel exists is for the personal company of the person who is doing it. And you can do the same thing. Writing Medium blogs, helping out on Stack Overflow, open source projects, personal projects, YouTubing, or whatever you do. Create a personal brand. It's always a good investment, and it doesn't actually require you to be a senior. You can be a junior. And lastly, strong interviewing skills. Take some time, do some lead coding, or make sure that you get some work on yourself so that you can perform in an interview. And a little bit of computer science skills is useful. I like to say that the ratio should be 80-20. 80% focus on the real core skills and 20% on algorithms and things like that, because usually you don't use them in a professional environment, but you do need in some cases to perform algorithmic problem solving and stuff like that in an interview. So what I want you to take away from this is that having job security as a software developer is basically down to continuous growth and keeping up with the times and so forth. The main points that you need to figure out is to have strong tech skills in relevant tools and things like that, strong social skills, experience, you may make sure that you're doing things, keeping yourself active, a strong CV, make sure that it looks good, that it communicates the right thing. A personal brand is really, really useful, because trust me when I say this, guys, if you didn't think about that, why do you think Uncle Bob and Martin Fowler and all these other profiles do all the tech talks? Well, I'd like to think that a part of it is because they really love helping the community and they have a lot of good ideas. But there's a lot of benefit that comes to them at a professional level from doing that sort of stuff, and you can do the same thing. And then finally, make sure that you have strong interviewing skills. Interviewing skills is, I mean, if you can go through the interview without being all too nervous, it's really hard to not be nervous, and you know enough of the standard computer science algorithm types of things so you can sort of solve them, then I can't imagine any company that will not hire you. This list is pretty much the thing that you need to nail in order to be future-proof, as long as you keep on learning. Have a great day.